of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
See, nobody want to talk about that. Nobody want to talk about why did Jesus stay in Jerusalem where John was at. Did the Lord need two prophets in one city? John and Jesus was equal. They always want to take John down and make like John had no significance. When the sign of John was there that he baptized Jesus.
He was the forerunner.
After, not just the forerunner. Not just the forerunner. Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad was a forerunner to our African American people, to me. I never met them. John was Jesus' cousin, born 6 months before Jesus. The angels spoke to Elizabeth, John's mother, equally as they spoke to Mary, Jesus' mother, and told them the same things would happen with them and their children. So who decided to change the transition of John from the way of the transition of Jesus? And then make John less important than Jesus when Jesus was put up on the cross and tortured for a few hours and then caused to escape that situation by the command of Allah. And John was forced to stay in that hell that Jesus ran from and then get beheaded in the service, under the service of Allah. So who was the wise guy that came in and did that? The same people of the same spirits who has come and slyly taken Muhammad down off the throne that Allah put him on in the minds of the people to make the companions and the so-called the what? Scholars. I was going to say theologians.
Yeah, I knew you were going there.
But I was looking for scholars. To say that they are equal or as great as Muhammad, their words, these he say, she say words. I heard that Muhammad said through so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so that he did such and such and such and such. And this is Bukhari. You know, great. And they've made the companions of Prophet Muhammad perfect men. When the only thing I have to go on is the prophets of the companions of Prophet Holy-Apostle Deen. And I know that they're not perfect. And I've been working on some for 30 years, and they haven't reached levels that I would like to see them reach. And I know that when Jesus talked to the 12 disciples, he said, somebody here gonna rat on me. He didn't use these words, but he said what I'm saying. Then one of y'all gonna rat on me. And but y'all so punkish, I don't want none of y'all to claim me. Because they gonna kill you. You don't have enough faith to do this. So be quiet. I'm gonna get out of here. You take my word. Carry my word for me. Now you think about a messenger of Allah having to tell his people, disassociate yourself from me. What is he saying? I don't think you have enough faith. I remember back in 1979, I was in the projects before they tore them down, Hayes Homes, on 17th Avenue and Belmont Avenue, which is Urban Channel Boulevard. And some guys that killed the politician, what was that guy named Wilson? Howard Wilson. He was a politician in South Florida. They killed him in the South Florida. 2 weeks after they assaulted me. But they didn't physically assault me. They wanted to physically assault me. But they came to me, and one of them had known me from the time he was a child. A very young child. And he feared me. But he was with two that had been terrorizing Hayes Homes, Stella Wright, Scudder Homes, all the projects. They was going around shooting people like crazy. And they was like pit bulls who had tasted blood, man. And they came to me, and one of them showed me a gun. And why he did it is because they had gotten so bold, he had a fishnet shirt on with the gun right up front. Now, how could you do that in the projects across the street from the precinct? If somebody in this city wanted us to kill one another. Huh? So he came to me, because I shook my head. I just shook my head like, dang, man, you know, this thing is really falling. And I got a lot of work to do in these projects, because I was on a mission. So he came to me, and I had two younger brothers. One 8 years younger, one 11 years younger. And they and the rest of the 40 people who was outside took hat. Those who kept from the projects from way back when, no taking hat means you hauling behind. They all ran. And they were screaming, run, run, Rashad, run. Because they was calling me Rashad, run. I'm like, run. So the guys came to me with the guns. And he told me that he would serve me in front of the precinct. He was feeling really big, you know? So I started speaking to this individual about life and death. And I made it clear to him that he could not shoot me. Not that he should believe that he couldn't shoot me. I believed he couldn't shoot me. I knew that he couldn't shoot me. And then I begged him to shoot me if he thought he could. You know, come on and pull the trigger. So I think somewhere in our conversation, he got it in his mind that if I don't kill this nigga gonna kill me. Or something like that. You know. But the thing about it is that I don't know where I was trying to go with this thing, but it don't matter. I'm going anywhere. But the thing about it is that people believe in these illusions that they have power that they don't really have. And while this individual was standing up there speaking to me about shooting me in front of the police station, trying to take my heart, my Lord was saying to me, look at him, really believing that he has the power when I am the power. He don't have the power to pull the trigger unless I give it to him. And these are the kinds of lessons that Allah was giving me and showing me His power over people and other things. You know? Now, I don't know if this brother's out of jail yet. He might be out of jail and he might be looking at this show, Little Farad and Big Farad. You know, y'all out there. I'm talking about that situation. I knew he had a lot to think about because here 2 weeks later they went and killed this man who was with his wife by the bank, took to take their money and got caught. But the thing about it is, why did they have to kill a politician before they got caught? Why did they go after him after they killed the politician? We have a whole lot of evil going on in our society. The greatest evil that's going on in our society is them taking down the Holy Quran. Taking down the language of it. The first commandment that Allah put on us as a community of believers, it told me to tell them to protect the Arabic Quran. It didn't say protect the English Quran. It said protect the Arabic Quran. Why? Because in English and Chinese and whatever languages has been translated in, they're falsely translated. Years after it told me to protect it, it started showing me things that was blatant mistranslations. And it got so bad, so terrible, that they are now taking out the attribute noon. They have already eliminated it in their conversation. Anybody not aware of what noon is? Noon is a word. It's a symbol. It's a letter. It looks like a bowl with a dot over it. And it's at many of the ends of the words that's in the Holy Quran and in the language of Arabic. And they've mixed this word with other words. They've practiced mixing the word with other words. Give me a word. Saleem, something like that there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, but what Ahezaah told me noon means is that which is to be recognized in everything. That is itself. That which is to, in recognition means to rejoin your mind to. That which is for you to rejoin your mind to in your awareness of everything. In other words, when I think of the atmosphere and I think of breathing, I don't just think of the atmosphere and breathing. I think of what Allah is doing to me in this atmosphere and causing me to breathe. And how merciful and gracious and loving it is to give me the ability to breathe and to make me breathe and to do all these things. I don't think in terms of my body working on its own like the scientists try to make us think. I think in terms of Allah making every particle of my being cooperate with its commands to work as it wills. And when I get ill or things go wrong, I don't curse myself so much so I look at that as Allah's will. This is what Allah willed. I don't know why. I wish it was different, but this is what it willed and brought this to me or brought this to somebody else I love or so forth and so on. But that's His will. Let's live with it. And let's find a way to get through it and find out from it how we go about dealing with it. So what they've done is that some demon among these antichrists have sought to find a way to eliminate from our minds a thought of the unseen, a thought of us being aware of that which is to be recognized in everything, that which is for us to be aware of in everything. Now, when you think in terms, you take that and you put that with Muslims running around saying there's no room in Islam for mysticism. Where'd that come from? When Jesus and Muhammad and Jacob and Job, they was the greatest mystics. Enoch and you know, you just go on and on and on.
That was part of the sealing.
That's what mysticism.
They were supposed to try to leak it out.
But they say there is no room for it, and then they go further and create this new religion called Hadithism. And then they say they put the prophets, so-called companions, on the platform, and we know the history of some of them. They fought the Prophet Muhammad. They fought against him. You don't have to come physically against me to fight me. I got family members fighting me all the time. You should do this, you should do that. Nah, I don't want to do that. That's a fight. That's a fight. By the law, when the prophets speak, you're supposed to be quiet and listen. By the law, you're not supposed to raise your voice louder than the prophets. By the law, you're supposed to act as though you realize Allah is there with the Prophet. By the law, you're supposed to respect and fear Allah in respect of acknowledging that that Prophet is there before you. Some people say, oh, he's trying to get us to worship him. No, I'm trying to get you to be aware that that noon is here. Al noon is here. That's all I'm trying to do. And it commands me, and I know it's here, and I fear it, and I'm sitting or standing or doing whatever in respect and fear of it in my service. And I'm telling you, you shouldn't talk to me like that because you can't see the boss. The boss is right here. And I'm telling you what he's saying, what it's saying. So you can go for years saying, I don't believe that nigga. I don't believe that nigga. So much so that after years you haven't found me wrong, like the Muslim world, the Muslim community haven't found me wrong. But they still saying that nigga crazy. I don't believe that nigga, that nigga, that nigga. He say he a prophet. Stop for Allah. May Allah have mercy on him. They calling for mercy for me when I am the gift of mercy to them. But they can't see Allah. And somebody told them that you know, like I had a Muslim say to me when I told him that, you know, I said Allah is at all places at all times. In all things. Nothing could exist outside of Allah. There's no such thing as an outside of Allah. Think about it. Allah is the infinite being. That means the endless being. There's no outside of it. Everything is inside of it. And now they're thinking like Allah is a globe. Huh? And the brother said, science have proven. And this brother had a Holy Quran under his arm. Walking up Broad Street. You know he was ready. Had his mind under his arm. Hope he's using shore. Funking up the Quran. Talking funky too. Science have proven that two things cannot exist in the same space at the same time. And I said, wow, brother, now you have relegated Allah to a materialized thing. When Allah is above and beyond everything it creates. You mean to tell me Allah is in that car? Yes, it is. I thought he was going to say, the driver. Said, in the middle of that car? Yes, it is. Next reaction, I thought he was going to say like, oh man, get out of my face, right? But he went further. He looked at me, his eyes open, and this was so cartoonish, but it happened for real. His eyes open, and he went running down the street screaming, shirk. Shirk! Shirk! And pointing at me. And went to Branford Place and got on Branford Place and Broad Street corner. Shark! And it was like, the Redcoats are coming! The Redcoats! He was shouting. And brothers came to the corner and was looking down the street. Shark! Shark! He pointing at me. Shirk means I'm setting up a Lord with Allah. I'm setting up something equal to the Lord of the throne. You know? And I looked at him and I said, ooh, that Quran can crack his brain. Instead of putting it in, he just put it on his head. You know what I'm saying? And it can get heavy like that, boy. But it's brothers like him. Years later, I seen him, and he had calmed down, and everything was a little different, and he was respectful, and he was assalamu alaikum. But they never come back and say, you know, brother, I want to apologize to you, man, for, you know, like, all these things I said, and blah, 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 blah. I come to find out that what you were saying was true. Nobody has ever did that yet. I guess that ego and that embarrassment, you know? But I just want you brothers who, you know, who sneak and look at the program and don't tell your brothers that y'all looking at the program to try to get educated and everything. I just want you to know that I'm not facetious, I'm not a mean person. I'll accept your apologies and wouldn't mind if you join me openly. You know, join us in this wisdom, because it is wisdom that Allah gives us. And wisdom is divine guidance. So you would have protection, you know, and a favor from Allah if you was to just come and join us, and, you know, your apologies will be accepted and appreciated. Now, did we get near to that half an hour that you need for Brooklyn? You passed it? I'm going to send you back to the Philippine Islands. See, these people been around me and they got a job to do, but see, they what happened is they get so involved in what I'm saying, it's like they forget they got a job to do. You know what I mean? Right? And I'm glad you didn't just come out of the bathroom, man, and forgot to button your pants, because they would be like falling. You be standing up there looking stupid. Right? Right, Chuck? Let me try to get back. All this is involved with learning how to learn. In learning how to learn, you need to be aware that Ahezaah is the true teacher. You need to be aware so that you will stay attentive to Ahezaah in everything you see, in everything you do, and everything that's being done around you. To look for the signs of Ahezaah so that you will gain in its guidance, its wisdom. It is very important that you recognize, like the brother said, I can't love Allah because I don't see Allah, and I can't touch Allah. And I told him that's a matter of understanding. I see Allah. He said, where do you see Allah? I said, in everything that is. I feel it. In everything I touch and everything that it touches me by. I know it in all my experiences. I am aware of it by the ways it make me be aware of it. I have its favor in my awareness to recognize, to know this. You see it, but you don't know you see it. You feel it, but you don't recognize what you're feeling. And sometimes when people get close to that recognition, they get spooked out. Oh man, let me tell you something. Man, I was in the house, I was thinking about some stuff, man. I wasn't thinking too much. I wasn't thinking good about you, Holy Apostle. But, I was a little mad with you because some things you said, some truths you brought. I'm only, going through some scenarios of something that really happened. And I was sitting in the room, and I wanted to make salat in the middle of my room. And this prayer jumped off the wall that I had on the wall to the middle of the room where I was praying. I got so scared. I said, well, how far was the wall from the middle of the room? And I was told it was in the big room. And I said, well, you know how you felt when you left me? Yeah. And that prayer was talking about exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. I said, all right, you put it back on the wall. He said, I was scared to. Because I don't know how it jumped off the wall. I said, you heard of poltergeist? That's more relative to what you understand.
Right.
You know? So when the unseen start manifesting through its angels and what have you, people get spooked out. Then they want to run from the religion or run from their thought. You know, I remember back in 1975 or 74, the end of 74, the beginning of 75, I was on the corner of South Orange Avenue and Cannon Street, and I had been fasting. I had, gave my heart to Allah. And I had become a member of the Nation of Islam, and I had been fasting, and I fasted like the Buddhists do. I wasn't fasting like Muslims. Don't eat from the sun up to the sun down. I was like not eating for a week. And my sensory perception got so keen that Allah gave me something that I would have today, then, and it messed me up. Guy was walking down the street and he was thinking some things, and his thoughts came out so clear I thought he had spoken out his mouth. And I said, what you say? And he looked at me. And then I repeated what he thought, and he said, I didn't say it. And he took off. And I said, oh shucks, it's getting worse. Because I have been having experiences. Allah was showing me that if it want, like they say, no man can read another man's mind. If Allah want to read that mind to you, it's read. Don't think that Allah is incapable of doing whatever it want to do. So, when that experience got to that height, because some different things had been happening for a while, I said, I got to stop fasting, I got to stop praying so much, I got to stop. And I did. I slowed up on the prayers, because I said, what they talking about praying 5 times a day? I pray every time I think of praying, I'm praying. Because I'm an extremist. I don't care if you want to think that's negative or not, but it got me where I am. And I would fast, and I got so to a point where I was eating every other day for about 2 years, And so, my senses, and I was eating right, and my senses had rose so much that what they was talking about, yeah, we all should be able to talk to one another without talking. That's what we used to do in Africa. And I say, oh, you lie. Only certain individuals was able to do that, But it made me run and back off of the mystic aspect of Islam because I wasn't ready. So you have to be prepared. And learning how to learn, you have to take certain steps. And you need Allah. You need Ahezaah every step of the way so that you will be protected. So with that, I'm going to end this segment because we got to get to the next segment. Now, how much time do I have?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. May Ahezaah's peace and blessings be with them about your presence.
Peace and love.
This guy.
Of you want to do things right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right?